Hi guys, welcome back. I had a request to do some kind of a lace translucent ghost cane. So thought I would do that. And I've also got some red, orange, and translucent just in case I want to add a little bit to it. So I know the first thing that I want to do is just a little flower. So I thought we'd start on this one since it's in front of me and it should be fairly quick. And it is Monday morning. Everything here is okay. I'm sure you've all heard the news that we lost Makita on Friday. And I'm actually doing better than I thought I would. I think with Makita we've been preparing for this for a while. But I'm still shocked at how fast she deteriorated. We had a great beach trip. Once I get this done, I'll kind of explain how the week went. But I can't do things two at a time, as you guys already know. Alright, so we got some gold right here. And actually, I think on the gold, I'm going to go like a 2. I don't need it at the thickest setting because this is going to be rather small. And I may go to a 3. We'll see. Okay. So we have our gold at a 2. And I am probably going to use all this translucent. So I'm just going to pull the whole big tube out. And I'm not going to condition it the normal way. I'm just going to roll it in my hands because all we're doing is making a log today. I got jewelry everywhere on each side of me. So I just kind of threw a towel over it, pushed it aside, and here we go. So I don't remember when I put out that last video. I think it was Wednesday. But anyways, Thursday we headed to the beach. And we couldn't get Makita up in the Jeep. So we literally had to pick her up and take her. And it's about 3.5. Well, with us it's about 4 hours or so because we stop a couple times. We park in a parking lot, open the doors, let the dogs go out, go pee, grab something to eat or whatever, and then we're off again. This is the first time Makita didn't want to get out either time to go to the bathroom. So we basically just let Jake out. Gave Makita some water. And we just let her lay down. So basically the whole trip was like that. If we needed her in the trailer or whatever, we literally had to pick her up, get her in the trailer, get her out of the trailer. We got there, I don't know, maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock on Thursday. So it was already time to grab something to eat. And we love eating at the campground. So we basically fed the dogs, put them in the trailer, and just left them there while we ate. Like I said, the restaurant's in the campground itself. So I got my fried clams, something I've been wanting for about a year now. And we got a little bit of ice cream, so we brought some home for the dogs. Alright, let me see where we're at real quick. This is at a number 2. I think we'll be okay. You know what? I'm going to go to a number 1. But anyways, we didn't walk on the beach that day. We came back and just hung out by the campground. And Friday morning, woke up and got all the dogs out of the trailer. Hung out for a while, and then we went down to the beach. So where we parked this time purposely was right where there's an entrance to the beach. So there's an area where you basically walk And the sand's a little thick, nice and poofy, so to speak. And Makita had a little bit of a hard time walking that. And then we got onto some hard sand. We walked the beach just a little bit. She didn't really care about a ball, which a ball is Makita's favorite thing. She didn't want to swim, so we just walked her a little bit. And then we just parked it, basically, and hung out on the beach for a couple of hours. She took a nap. We all basically just slept. Then headed back, and yeah, she basically laid on the grass in the campground. We have a lot of rocks where we park, but then there's like a patch of grass that they give everybody. And that's where she basically hung out. She ate for the most part, but you could tell her mind wasn't there. She was just always staring off into space and stuff like that. But anyway, so we had like 3 days of that. We brought her home on Sunday. Again, didn't get out to go potty at all. And then Monday she started dealing with stomach issues. She wasn't solid, let's say that. So she didn't eat much. I started feeding her some eggs, rice, and white chicken. And she wouldn't eat it unless I fed it to her by hand, which is weird. But she ate, and she drank a lot of water. And then by Tuesday, she was really having problems just standing up. So we basically had to help her up, walk her into the bathroom, and you could tell she was struggling. And, of course, struggling to go to the bathroom the other way as well. And that was just basically her life for about 3 days. And then on Thursday, she really didn't eat. Really didn't get up. We really had to help her up at that point. But she just started staring even more, you know. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know if it was her mind that went or just her mind and her body. But, you know, I had prayed that we got her one more beach trip, as I said. And she made it to the beach. She made it home. And then I just told him I don't want to make the decision of putting her down. I know a lot of people do. And I know that if she was in any kind of pain, that I would have her put down. By Friday morning, she was breathing really heavy. And I couldn't get her mouth open to give her food. I used a syringe for like a day and a half to give her water. But I knew that, I don't know, I guess I knew that it wasn't going to get close. So anyways, I did make an appointment to have her go in and be put down. If need be, I called a company called Peaceful Pets that would have came to the house and done it here. But they were literally gone until today. And I really didn't want to take her in the vet because she absolutely hates the vet. Alright, I'm going to go to 9 inches here. But with the way her mind was, I don't think she would have realized she was in the vet. But anyways, I just had her in the bedroom and I put her on my lap the best that I could and talked to her on Friday. And then my husband came home from work early and we kind of, she's got this big old blanket, or not a blanket, she's got a big old dog bed that she sleeps on in the bedroom. So we basically dragged her in and out of the bedroom so that she would always be with us and that we could always keep an eye on her. And then we brought her out in the living room and we tried one more time to get her up and see if she'd go to the bathroom, and she wasn't having it at all. So she had an accident, but she was on her pillow basically. Alright, I'm going to make 5 cuts here, right? So I need 1.5, 3, 1.5, 3, then I need 6. You know what? 7.5. I'm going to go 6 cuts here. And well, that was basically it. So she breathed real heavy, and then that stopped. And I noticed that she looked calm. Her breathing was a little more shallow. And so I just pet her and talked to her and stuff like that. And then I just noticed that her breathing was agonal now. You know, she was at that last moment. And I told my husband, you know, sit down right here next to her. She's going now. And we sat with her for about 10 minutes, and then her breathing just got a little bit irregular. It would stop, you would think. And then, I don't know, 5-10 seconds later, it would start up again, and then it just kind of slowed down from then, that you didn't know if she was going to take another breath or not. And that was it. So we had her here for, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours just to say our goodbyes. We made sure that Jake said his goodbyes, that he knew what had happened, because when Bandit died, Makita looked for him for a long time. And we were hoping that this would help him realize that she was gone. And it is weird because Bandit's always cleaning her eyes, he's always licking her face and, you know, doing the dad thing. But we noticed that he was kind of distancing himself from her. So I think Bandit probably knew, or I think Jake probably knew before we did, that it was time. And I kind of noticed it, but I ignored it. But he said his goodbyes, and then we just left her on her bed, put the whole bed in the back of my car. We drove her to the vet, and obviously they confirmed it. We knew, but I just needed them to confirm it. So we'll have her back in about 7 to 10 days. We ordered her urn and all of that, and she'll have a place with all the other dogs. I am doing okay. It's a lot different, I think, than Bandit, because he went unexpectedly. Dakota, we knew she was going. So we've been blessed to have been able to have all of our dogs pass at home. And it was pretty peaceful, you know. But boy, I can't believe how fast she deteriorated. I mean, she died a week after that picture was taken on YouTube that I've got of her at the beach. Exactly 1 week from then. So it went pretty quick. I don't know if dogs go to heaven. I don't know if there's any biblical truth to it. But I sure hope that we see her again. She was a great dog. We went for a walk with Jake yesterday. And I think I took him for a walk the day before. He hasn't really looked for her. You know, you would think that he would turn around because he always waited for her, because Makita was slow as molasses when it came to walking. She has been for a few years. But he didn't look for her. So I think he knows, you know. I think he's doing okay. Yeah, we took her for a couple bike rides, so she got that at least. Took her on the beach, and my bike broke. So I took it in for maintenance, because you have to do it once a year. I have a pedal assist bike, so kind of it's electric, but you can shut it off and just use it as a regular bike. Alright guys, how's this looking? I think it's still a little too big. But she got a couple bike rides at the beach. She seemed to enjoy it. She just laid down. But yeah, I took my bike in for maintenance, and it was done. Got it out, started riding, and we wanted to ride along the water line of the beach. So we do that. My husband and Makita take off, And I don't know how far they drove, but they went a long way and realized, hey, Mom's not here. Me and Bandit were stuck. I mean, my bike just completely froze. So me and Jake had to get disassembled. We put him on the beach with Makita and Nick. And I basically had to lug that bike all the way back into town. And I was mad, you know. But they ended up giving us a loaner. Didn't charge us for it. And so we at least got to enjoy riding on the beach for the rest of our trip. Alright, so this is our gold flower. Okay, and I'm just going to fill this up with translucent. Now this I'm going to have to put through the pasta machine. So all in all, it went well, but it was a hard trip. I mean, there was no relaxing. It was more so of keeping an eye on her and helping her up, helping her down. So it was a lot of work. We needed to come home for our vacation. But I'm just happy that she made it to the beach. Whether or not her mind was there at the time and she realized where she was, I think she sensed it. I think she could smell the water, the salt water, and all of that. But that's what I'm hoping for. So today is Monday. So it's been 3 days since she's been gone. And honestly, we're doing okay. I haven't gotten any glimpse of her, which is weird. Because with Dakota, I felt like I could still see her walking around the corner. But nothing with Makita. It was like she had no unfinished business. She just went. And I guess that's the way we all want to go, right? It's with unfinished business. The hardest time of the day is at night. And a little bit during the day too, because as you know, she was everywhere. If I'm in here, she is in my studio with me, or she's right at the door. If you're taking a shower, she's at the door. Or down the hallway, right at the door. If you're in the office, she's laying right there at one of the entryways. If you're in the kitchen, she's blocking one of the entryways. It was like a game with her that she loved to be seen. And you were always climbing over her. No matter where you were in the house, you were always climbing over her. So that is an interesting part right now, is not tripping over a dog. But I think at night is when it hits the hardest, because we have a big couch, and then we have like a love seat couch and a rocking chair kind of couch. Oversized rocking chair, I guess would be a better way. And she always had the love seat. That's where she laid. That was her couch. She literally took it over from everybody. And boy, if you sat on her couch, she'd give you the saddest look, like, get off my couch, please. That's my couch. But that's the hardest at night, I think, is just relaxing at night. And it's empty. I put a stuffed animal, her favorite stuffed animal, right in the corner of it. Her blanket's still on there. And it's just empty, you know. And the fact that we're not tripping over her every day, it's just a weird feeling. You know, you don't realize how much impact dogs have on your life, but boy, do they. But I know she's not in pain anymore. I don't know if she's in nothing mode or if she is somewhere. If anybody knows for sure, please let me know. I'm not an expert on the Bible, but I don't believe that I've ever really read a verse that says that we'll see our animals in heaven. But I don't know why not. Maybe because she didn't have a soul. I think dogs have souls. Every living being, I think, has one. Although I know animals, you know, they act as of instinct. But dogs knew when they did something wrong. You know, like they kind of really knew the difference between right and wrong. You know, getting into the trash and stuff like that. And they know they're going to get in trouble for it. So that to me shows me that they have something inside. But anyways, that is our hope. But I am doing okay, and thank you everybody who's checked up on me and responded. I just didn't have it in me a lot of times to write anything back because I really don't know what to say. And it's weird because the other night we were going to make popcorn and watch a movie, and I couldn't do it. Something as easy as popcorn, because she loved my popcorn. She'd hear it popping, she'd smell it, and she was always right there in the kitchen waiting for it. And then when I'd sit down, I'm always throwing like handfuls of popcorn to her. And she'd eat it all. She absolutely loved my popcorn. But right now, popcorn is off my list. I just can't do it. And I know with each passing moment, it will get better. But for right now, we're hanging in there the best that we can. Now we just concentrate on Jake. And of course, the husband wants another dog. And right now, I'm like, nope. I don't think I can do it again. I mean, I love having dogs. Especially when my husband goes camping with his buddies and I'm here alone. It's really nice to have a dog here. And we talk all the time. You know, all my dogs do. We just talk. I know they don't answer me, but I talk to them a lot. Because they're here with me. And I'm here most every day. Unless I have to leave. So, it's going to be a little bit of getting used to, but right now we're focusing on our show, which is like, what's today? Oh my God, it's Monday. I think I have 3 more weeks, maybe 2, I don't know. It's the 11th and the 12th of October, and I need to go a little bigger with that. So it is getting soon. And the only thing I regret is my daughter had a fitness thing to go to over the weekend. And when our last lab went, Makita just started a job. This was when she first got her RN license. She was working at the hospital. And I was telling her, I go, you got to get home as soon as you can after work, because I don't think Dakota's going to make it. And Dakota just hung on, and then I called her back, and I said, I think she's waiting for you. And Taylor got home, and literally sat down next to her, said what she needed to say, and Dakota died. So she waited. And when I told Taylor that Makita wasn't doing really good, you know, she was talking about how she wanted to come and see her a few days ago, but she was so tired after work that she just went straight home, and how she kind of regretted that. But she told me to put the phone up to Makita's ear, and Makita's pretty much deaf. I don't know what she can hear, but I did. You know, I put the phone by Makita, and Taylor just talked to her, you know, I love you, I'm so sorry, I'm not there, you know, but go, Makita, you're free to go, you know, just let go and go. And it was within 20 minutes that she went after that phone call. So maybe she waited for Taylor again, because Taylor was still living here when Makita was a puppy. It was like literally right before my mom died that we got her. Maybe 6 months before. Well, no. Maybe about a year before my mom moved in with me. And so Taylor was here until 2018, I think, is when she moved out. Or 19, I don't even remember, but she always made it a point to come over and visit us and visit Dog. She only lives like, I don't know, 7-8 minutes away from us. It's just weird. Life is just weird. Animals are just weird. Don't underestimate animals, and honestly, don't underestimate the power of prayer. And I'm not into preaching and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, prayer works. I have seen so many weird things happen in my life that prayer just answered like almost instantly. It's just weird. So I know there's something out there, and I do believe in God. And I watched the Charlie Kirk Memorial last night. Boy, that was long. I'd watch a little bit, do stuff that I had to do, and then I'd go back to it. But, you know, that guy made such an impact with his faith. Whether you agree with him or whether you don't, it doesn't really matter, because there are always going to be people that disagree and agree. I don't know much about him. Every now and then I'd see one of his posts come across my feed. Sometimes I watched, sometimes I didn't. Boy, that guy was smart. I mean, he was smart. He could give you an answer to almost everything. But the hate that he got back sometimes was just young kids that didn't live life yet and are just starting out. And I don't know. I see so much hate. And it doesn't matter what side you fall on. I am not Republican. I am not a Democrat. I'm pretty much in the middle, but I do lean more to conservative sides. I do believe in family. I do believe in God. You know, so, you know, if that's a bad thing, then it is. But I've got a sister-in-law, a sister-in-law, a brother-in-law, a few brother-in-laws that are all Democrats. My parents were Democrats. You know, we never fought over politics. We just never talked about, I guess. But those times were so much different when the party meant something else. Now, I don't know what any party stands for, and all I see is hate and division. And I see a man that got shot because of his beliefs. And he knew that it could happen, and it didn't stop him from his journey and what he wanted to do. So, we just all got to get along, because we're all trying to get through this world as peacefully as we can. And as you know, life is nothing but peaceful. It is full of disease, it is full of drugs, it is full of so much crap that I did not grow up with. And social media, yeah. If somebody said Facebook would be gone tomorrow, I wouldn't have a problem with that. The only thing that I basically like to use Facebook for is keep up with family and literally sell my glass beads on there and my clay stuff. But I'll find a different business avenue. I find myself not posting much anymore. So, do I need it? Probably not. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. And that could make me very arrogant. Did I say arrogant? Not arrogant. Ignorant. But I don't care. I'm at that part of my life where I don't care anymore. There's nothing that I can change on my own. Or at least I don't believe I can. So I just stay out of it. Alright, so you want to see my little flower? Alright. That's going to look really pretty, I think. And that's going to be on a bead. And it's going to hopefully stand out against red and orange. Again, we're still making fall. I don't know why. Fall's almost over. But I guess it could wait until next year. Okay, so we're going to just do 2 bundles. And I'm going to do this off air as far as wrapping them. And then I'm going to come back and I'll show you how I'm assembling them for the cane. But I want to make, you can call it a kaleidoscope, and that's probably what it's going to be, but it's just going to be a simple kaleidoscope cane in white and translucent. And that's what I wanted to make with you today before I started on these flowers. But since these are so quick and so fast, I figured I'd start these first. But the main one I want to do is a kaleidoscope cane. And you don't even have to follow what I'm doing, you know, because there's not going to be much thinking into it. It's just going to be throw the clay together and let's see what we get kind of thing. That last cane that I had that was kind of, I don't know if it was lacy or not. It was a beautiful cane. So I'm hoping we get a little more of that. Okay, and I'm trying to think of how big I want these, because we're going to need to make one in red and one in orange. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we'll just cut it up at 5 and then go 2.5. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this in red. I'm going to wrap that in orange. And then I'll come back and show you that. And then we'll start on the big one. Okay, so we'll see you soon. Alrighty, so we're back with this. And we made another log of translucent. I'm using white translucent, by the way. And it is Sculpey Primo. Okay, and I want 7. And I don't have to go 1.5. But I need 7 pieces. If I were to go 1.5, then I would need it about 10.5 inches long. See? Just like that. Okay, so we're going to cut this off. Oh, just about there. Alright, go 10.5. Let's go a little smaller. And I'm going to do this the same with the red. Okay. And we're going to have one in the middle. And we're just going to have one in the middle and all the rest here like that. Okay. And we're not filling it in with anything, or should I? I can't remember on my lace if I did that. I think I probably did. But I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've made a lacy cane here. So let me get a bunch of little ones here, just in case. Well, I love that this clay has been sitting for so long and it's so nice and soft. Now, if you have Cernet translucent, it'd probably be a little more translucent, but I just like working with Primo. It just works. Okay, and I'm just making teeny little guys like this. Nothing big, just something to separate all these. Okay, so there's half, right? So we're just gonna start cutting. Oh, kind of lost my train of thought there. Right? Okay, and all this is gonna do is it's gonna give it a little space in between each flower. So like we're gonna do that here. Okay, and now we're just gonna add some more all the way around. And they don't have to be perfectly the same size, so don't worry about being too technical doing this. And as you can see, I'm not really worried about placement either. I'm just kind of putting them around each petal. Oh, guys, guess what? Yes, I'm thinking again. I'm wondering if I want to put some white around it. So I think I'm just going to cover these. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've made this. And sometimes going by memory doesn't work all that well when you forget everything. So literally, I'm going to do this again. You know what? I'm just going to take a chunk off. And I'll show you why. I'm sorry, I hope nobody is following along perfectly. But I'm going to take some white and wrap it around. We're going to wrap it around the translucent. It's always a good idea not to push too deeply. Okay, if you can see what I'm doing, there's a piece of orange that came off. So I'm just adding a chunk of orange back to it. Okay, so this I'll just make something. It can be a flower later. And I pulled out souffle white because I can't find any regular white. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. So I'm going to hit on hold right quick. And I'm going to see if I can find some Prima white before I use that Sculpey. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. But just in case, okay. So let me go find some white and let's redo that and I'll be right back. Actually, as I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and put this into a flower as well and then I'll be back. Alrighty guys, so I found some brand new Prima white. So I just did the same thing as the other one, made a log of the white translucent, covered it in Prima white at a number 1. And I decided I wasn't going to make lace. Because then I have a big blotch of orange as part of the lace. And I decided I don't want to do that. So we're just basically going to wrap this in white. And as you see, we're going to make this really thin. And I'm just going to cut it in the center. Because I don't have the room for it. It's going to be a big blob anyways. So I don't want to go too small because I don't want that orange to overtake everything. So we're going to just see how many I get out of this. Okay. Yeah, I've got a printer on behind me. If you hear any weird noises, that's what that is. Got one more order to finish. And really sorry guys, I know a lot of my orders kind of went out later than they normally do. It's just been catch up since I've been home. And yeah, I'm a little late on a lot of stuff. But hopefully next week I will be back where I need to, and that print just finished. So I'm going to go grab that because that's all this order is waiting for. And also, just in case anybody's interested, I've done this before, but I just did a Fire Mountain gem order, and I'm probably going to do one end of October, beginning of November. If anybody wants the lowest price on Fire Mountain, just let me know. I have one of you that has an order with me, this past one, and I didn't advertise it because I really wasn't going to do a bulk buy, but I didn't have enough. And usually I'm in their platinum partners to where it doesn't matter how much I order, I always get the lowest price. But this past year I have not really bought any beads or anything. I bought findings here and there, and unfortunately my platinum members kind of went away. So now I'm building back up. So you have to spend a certain amount per year. And then you pretty much have the platinum, I think, for a year as well. I don't remember how it works, but I have been one for so long, and then when I placed this last order and realized that I wasn't anymore, it was, okay, well, now I got to build it back up. So whenever you need anything, let me know. And we can do like a bulk buy. So this time I was short a little bit. So what I did was they had a clearance item. And I don't really care for it, but they were 20 cents a piece. So I figured if I buy 10 of them, which I think is what I was short of, then that's $2. So I spend an extra $2 and I save another 40, you know, to get the cheaper price. So I did that. And sometimes that's what I'll do if we can't quite get to it. I'll make a way to get to it. But I've been really good this year. I have not really spent too much. Tax time, that might hurt me, because I'm not sure what it's going to do to my write-offs and stuff. But, you know, we're just going to do the best we can. Okay, so we're not going to go too small on this. So now we've got the flower, and I'm not even going to look at the thing. I'm going to cut this, put it together, and then I'm going to go get this last order out. And then I've got the whole day. Well, actually, I have one more order, but I've got the whole day basically to not worry about stopping for a print. I have a noise on the side of my yard, but I think it's just the... Oh, look at those. Aren't those cute? Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this. Okay, we're just going to wrap it. Oh, I like this one. Okay, so I could use it like that. You know what? I think I am. I'm going to leave those completely out of it. I'm going to fill up the little holes with some small, just translucent, and we're going to leave it alone. So this is just like an overlay for your bead. So you're going to be putting stuff on it and over it and around it. So you don't really need to worry about them being absolutely perfect, because wherever it isn't perfect, we can always fill it in. Okay, so what do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 more. So that's going to be about 7.5 inches. Okay, so we're just going to do that. Okay. And if you didn't really like it the way that it is, how did I miscount? I didn't. Yes, I did. You could do the same with this, right? And put all these around it. Or you could fill it up with all kinds of stuff around it. And you can do it again. But I am just going to leave it just like this. So I'm going to reduce this. And I'm going to go grab this order and I'm going to get it out real quick. I'll be right back. All right. One more order out. I've got one to go. And I hate having to interrupt our sessions like this, but you got to work, you got to work. I got to pay bills. I got teeth to pay. So now we're just going to reduce this. We're not going to reduce it too big, or too small actually. My beads are about, I don't know, maybe about 1 inch usually when I make my, I made these with that last ones we did. They're really simple. I'm not sure I like it that much, but I had no idea what to do with these. So what are these? About 3/4. They're basically just dangles, right? So these will probably go down to about 1/2 inch. And we'll probably make a bead with them as well. Alright, so there's that lace. I really like that. I don't know why, I just think that's really cool. So we're going to set that aside now. Alright, so now I got this fun guy. And this one, we're just going to take it into a triangle. Could I have added some round to this? Yeah, I could. But this one is just another simple one. And then we can make our main one. And by then, I should have all my orders out. If one comes through while I am videoing, I will just wait. It's Monday. My mailman doesn't usually get here till late afternoon anyways on a Monday. So, I will just stick to what we're doing here. Okay, and we're going to make, I don't know, we're going to go at least 6 of them. This isn't a huge cane. Now you could make this using a round cane. You don't have to make a triangle. But if I just use round, then it ends up being like a bubble cane. So this kind of puts a little bit of texture or just a little bit more of a design in it. Alright, this guy decided to fall apart. Okay, so we're going to do something like that. And like I said, no thinking to this. Absolutely no thinking. We are just going to put it together any way that we want. Okay, I'm going to go halfway there. Oop. Okay, he got really long. Feels so good to be in here, guys. You know, I wish I could win the lottery. Don't we all, right? To where I could just create and sell. And in the future, that's probably what I'll do, is on my Me and the Mutts, or not Me and the Mutts, my Creative Dork will all have digital files by then. Because I have a feeling most people are going to end up buying a 3D printer anyways, as they become a little cheaper along the way. I know a lot of people have it already. You know, you can get them fairly cheap, but a lot of people don't want to handle the hassles because things go wrong a lot. And if you're not prepared for that and don't know how to fix it, it's one of those things where you just want to throw them through the window. And I have had a lot of those. I did get me one more printer. I have 3 that I need to get rid of because they are not working right. So right now I am down 3 machines. And I've done everything that I possibly could and cannot get these things to work. Okay, so do I like that or not? Okay, this one, we're going to squish it and make that bottom fat. Okay, so... Okay. How do I want to do this so that it ends up turning into a triangle, all right? And this is why it probably would have been good if I had one that was round, but I don't care. Again, this is an overlay, so I'm not worried about what happens to it. It's just going to give a little bit of color underneath the translucence. But I do want to try something different as I make this by putting a thin layer of translucent over the main design before I add my flowers, because I want it to seem like they're floating. So most of the time, where's that bead I just showed you? You know, it's just a layer over a layer over a layer over a layer, but you can see that they just lay right on top of it, right? So if I put all these decorations on the bottom and add a thin coat of translucent and then add my flowers to the top, I'm hoping that it gives it a little bit more depth instead of like it's laying right on top, basically. Okay, and I don't really care if these are big or small, so I am going to cut it one more time. Oh, absolutely. And then figure out, oh, I like that. Okay, so that's what we got, just with making a bunch of triangles, right? And I want this for the bottom. Okay, so now we're just going to take this and it's going to be square because I have better results using it square to just lay over the bead. Can it be round? Can. Oh, this is going to be a small one. That's right. This isn't our main one. So we're going to make this round. So that means I need at least 6 inches. Yeah, I have everything in my head and nothing on paper. So if I do 6, would that mean I need 10 and a half? I don't want to go all the way to 10 and a half here. So if I do 1 1/4, that would be 2 1/2. 4 would be 5. I think Irene, 6 1/4. That would be 7 3/4. That I might be able to do. All right, so let's do 1 1/4. All right, and that would be 2 1/2. And then 3 3/4, and then 5, and then 6, and then we need all the way to the end of this, right? Nope, this one's a little bigger. Alright, let me make this a little smaller. Okay, so that is going to be our other round one. Okay, so I am going to reduce this, come back, and let's see what it looks like, and then we're going to make our main one. A little backwards today. I started with the small ones first, but that's okay. Actually, I don't need a pause. We're just going to cut this right in half right now. Okay, so this you can barely see. I don't know if you can see it really well, but it's really tough to see, but I like it. And it's going to look so good when it's done. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, we are back and no more breaks. All of our orders are out. And for the person here that ordered from Fire Mountain, when I went to go put my last package on the porch, I noticed a box from Fire Mountain. So we will be able to get that together today, and that'll go in the mail tomorrow with your order. So I love it when things start to come together, you know what I mean? Even in the midst of everything bad, everything just moves on and everything comes back together the way it should. Alright, so this one we're going to make a little bit bigger. I haven't really been selling a whole lot of my canes online. I do have them up there, but they're not really selling very well. I am not Ivy Niles, and I actually bought a couple Ivy Nile canes the other day. When I take a break to reduce this, I will show you it. They're so cute. She's just so good. She doesn't struggle with color. And the funny thing is she uses both Primo and Kato. She does not use Kato alone because her canes are like that big. So she's got to use something a little softer to help her with it. But then this is what she does for a living. She's in her studio every day just making canes, right? I am a cutter maker. And this is my, I don't know, this is my way of relaxing, my way of just creating. I was doing a lot of glass beads there for a while. I don't think I have any out to show you. Maybe I do. Really quick, I can show you. I still don't know how I'm going to put them together. Yeah, no, I don't have them in front of me. But that's okay. I'm going to just work on those this week. I've been making some sublimation tumblers. I'm going to make 3 mugs. I think 3, maybe 6 of golfing. And what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to take the cup and then I might add like a golf towel inside the cup and make it like a little gift thing because it would be perfect for Christmas or Father's Day or whatever. Alrighty. So I could go bigger, but I think this is going to be fine. Okay, now I'm just going to add more white. And because this is so thick, we are going to make our white at the thickest setting. Now, unfortunately, I used orange and red. So before we get too crazy in doing this, I'm going to grab a paper towel, some alcohol, and we're going to clean our pasta machine. So we don't get any of that on it. So before you do anything with white and translucent, you might want to clean your blades. I really would like to do another machine. I know a lot of people have two machines. One is strictly for white. That is probably the best idea I've ever heard. But I don't want to spend another $150 for another pasta maker. Maybe after my teeth are done and I've got some extra money, I'll try it. But for now, we are just going to clean our blades the old-fashioned way. And that's what we'll worry about. I mean, it really doesn't take that long to clean, but I think it's more of forgetfulness, that I'll do something and then I'll forget what I did before, and then I'll find out what I did before when I go to put white in here. And the back ones for me are the hardest to put on. So give me a minute as I figure this out here. Sometimes it wants to be a pain. Alright, let me get into this real quick. Okay. So now we're just going to run one more paper towel with some alcohol over the blades. And just to make sure that our rollers are pretty clean. They look pretty clean, but it can be very deceiving. Okay, and this we're doing it at a 0. And we'll do one more. Alrighty. One more is all we're going to need. It's white. White is probably the easiest to condition. Well, maybe we need to go one more or two more. Here we go. I got a little bit more right here. That looks pretty clean. And then I find a little piece of orange on it, so I'm going to take that out. Alright. Much nicer. Make sure that's got no ickies on it. Okay. So this is good white. With a little blue added in there. Let's set that aside now, or I will destroy it. Okay, I'm just wrapping it tight. Just to keep an eye on air bubbles. Okay. And there we go. So I think the actual beads that I make, which I'll only make 1 or 2, so it'll be a short video, but I will probably do that separate and load that up sometime this week. And that way we can use it and make, I don't know, a pair of earrings, a bracelet. I'm not really sure yet. I'd like to make my own, like, clasp. So what we're going to do with this is I'm going to take this to about 6 inches and I'm going to cut 3 of them as it's round. And then the rest of them I'm going to do in a triangle. I really wish I could show you this in just the triangles of what it looked like. Really quick, I would like to see what this looks like. And that'll help guide me in what I'm making now, but you can barely see it. So I'm just going to take this little white piece that had some orange in it. And if worst comes to worst, I'll get a really pretty pink once I mix all this up, right? Alright. So it's not a perfect shape, and that's okay. I really don't know if you're going to see it really well. Okay, it'll come through a lot more when it's cooked. Okay, so now I know what I got. That actually looks kind of like a flower. I don't know how, but it did kind of look like that. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce this from the center out and just push it up so we don't get any waste here. So there we go. We're about 6 inches. And instead of 3 inches, I think I'm going to cut it off at 2 inches. Okay, and that one's going to remain round for this whole cane. Okay, and this one is going to be triangle. It has been a long time since I have made a cane, and I can feel it in my thumbs here. You know, it's another really pretty cane is by doing like this flower that we made, but doing like a flower in black and just use strictly black and white. So I will probably do that off camera and make just a little, I don't know, like a black and white flower, or not black and white, but black and translucent. Or you can make a flower by doing translucent, wrapping it with white, each petal, and then wrapping it in the black, and that way you get a little bit of black and white going through that. But I love making translucent canes just because you can use them so many different ways. You know, you can make leaves, you can make any shape that you want, but yet they're not overbearing on your project. And just use a white base, and then wrap the white with your translucent base, or this, when it's done. And then just add little black and white flowers or black and white leaves. So I think that might be our next project. Hey, look at that. I'm thinking ahead. I've already got another project lined up. Ah, that wasn't supposed to happen. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these don't throw out. They'd be great for a base. But yeah, I'm more concentrating now on making sculpted beads, if you want to call it that. So lentil beads, bicone beads like this. But stuff that I'm not using a cutter on. I do like my cutters, obviously that's my business. But I also want to kind of put things together and mix and match them with my lampwork beads at the same time. Gosh darn it, I just keep grabbing and it cuts, which I guess is okay, because it cut it at 1.5, but so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll give us 4 more. Okay, these are going to be a little smaller. And then I'm going to make some round ones. And maybe I'll do a black and white little block here. I'll show you what I mean. I'm sorry, white and translucent. No black and white in this. Although this is supposed to kind of look like lace, so maybe I won't get too advanced into that. Now when that happens, if you want, you could just take a little bit of white and nip it at the butt. As you can see, it's really thin now because of all the stretching. So I'm going to go to a number 4 and then just a number 5. Okay, and we're just going to add just a little bit to cover that area. You guys can come up there. And you don't have to add any kind of round element to this. You can just use your triangles and come up with a pretty cool cane. But I never know how I make my canes, so I couldn't even replicate what I had before, even if I wanted to. Alright, so what are we going to get out of this? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might be able to get 7 of these. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so we're going to lay this out. Again, 1.5 inches. It's just a little bigger. So now we have some round ones. And on this one, we're going to flatten it. And again, if it comes out and you say, oh, I don't like it, don't worry about it. It will still work. Because remember, you're going to be layering stuff on top of it. And so it's going to be just fine. Now, I don't think I can get this to a 7.5, but we are going to try really hard here. And we did. Got a 1.5, 4.5, a 6, 7.5. Okay, and that's basically it. So we got all kinds of different shapes here. Now the fun part is putting it together. This one's smaller than 1.5. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, okay, again, you see how I'm doing this? There's really no thinking to this at all. These are the best canes ever. Are the no thinking ones. This is what makes claying fun. Because when I have to think, I get frustrated. That's funny. That one's just a little bigger. Oh well. It is what it is, right? Again, this is just for fun. So we're going to put that like that. I'll put like that, like that. Put that like that. 2 more. A little bigger. I don't know if that's really going to matter, but just in case, we're going to just shrink this down. See, this is higher than the other one is. All right. Okay, and we're going to just push this so that it kind of surrounds the little circle, except the little circle got shorter. And it broke. Well, hopefully it'll find its way. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now I'm just going to reduce this. This is going to be a square. And I'm not going to reduce it to the point where, I'm not going to reduce it, put it back together and reduce it more to make this smaller. I am going to reduce this, put the back ends together, then reduce it into 4 spots. So I'm going to go to at least, I don't know, 4 inches, and then we'll come back and we'll show you the rest. So we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so we are back, and I kind of made the camera a little closer so you can kind of see it a little better. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to pull this to 5 inches. And I'm not really going to take anything off the sides because then I end up with a lot more waste. I may, I don't know. We'll see how everything lines up. But this one, all we're doing is putting it butt end here. Right? And I'm going to go just a little past halfway point. Okay. I know. It's like, ew, that's ugly. Okay, so how did I cut that? Like that? So basically what I want to do is put it back like that. Okay. Now, I could, if I wanted to, shrink this down one more time, but because of the fact that these are so small, it's going to make it really small. So I don't want to do that. And so in order for me to get this into a square, now I've just got to shape it. So it's kind of like going cat a corner. And I know I put the right ones together. Okay, so this, if it's facing you, like going down, you want to push it up. If that's facing backwards, you want to face this forward, okay? And you're basically just going to keep doing and pushing it back and forth until you get it into a square. You've seen me do this like a million times. But for those that are just tuning in, which is awesome, we got so many new people trying out polymer clay for the first time. You know, it's one thing this world needs is art, and it needs an outlet for everything. You know, this is our escape. And you know that little saying, art is running away from home, is running away without leaving home, basically. I'm just putting a little piece right here and smearing it on top, because I noticed that there was a little bit out, and there is right here too. It's just because it thinned out a little bit more. So we're just going to bring that all the way down. Okay, and now you can take this to 8 inches and cut 4 pieces. You could take it to 4 inches and cut it. I usually go 8 inches and then put it all together, and that way I don't have to reduce too much more. But if I get bored and impatient, then I usually cut it up a little bit smaller. Okay, and I'm just poling basically. And the one thing that's cool about a square shape is you can use your brayer to help you out. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. You're just kind of stretching it out. Okay, see how much faster that was? Now again, I will probably put this, and I have this at a number 7. I'm going to run this at an 8. So that's like almost paper thin. And it's a real pain when you try and get it off. But it's just to help so I don't have too much waste. A little waste I can handle. A whole lot I hate. And the reason I go thin is I don't want it to be really thick as I go. I'll set that over there. Kind of excited to open up my Fire Mountain order. I've gotten stainless steel this time. I don't normally work with stainless steel, but I'm tired of tarnish with silver and gold. And I know that using surgical steel and stainless steel, a lot of people don't have as many allergies. Okay, I went a little bit farther on this, didn't I? I just don't like the dull silver look. But the price of silver and gold right now, I don't think that's ever coming down. So I still have a lot of sterling silver from years ago, and I'm just afraid of using it because I'm never going to be able to get those prices again. So they sit here. Alright, so I'm at 9 inches. Actually 9.5. So if I were to split that in 2, and yes, my math isn't really great, especially when you don't use it every day. So if I do 1.5, if I do 1 3/4 times 4, if I went 2, 4, 6, 8, nope, so I need, if I went 2 1/4, yeah, 2 1/4 would be 9 inches. All I need are 4 pieces. Alright. So there we go. And yes, I'm going to move it just so I don't have to think. Yes, that is very sad. So 2 1/4. Right. And then 2 1/4. Alrighty. So I could do it this way. Go all the way down this right there. Okay, and you're just gonna have that really cute little, it's gonna look like a flower actually. So if I were to turn it around, yeah, no, I always like that first one that I always do. Okay, so now we're just going to set these together. Okay, and the same with this one. It's so weird right now because Makita would be right here in the office with me. So yeah, even though I say I'm okay, I still have my moments where I know she's not here anymore. And then again at night is when, at 9 is when it will hit again. But, you know, it's life. We're all gonna go. Okay, so we're done with that. Done with the white. And yeah, this video is probably really long, so I don't think we're gonna make a bead with this today. But I will have another one ready. I will put this video up actually today. And maybe we'll put the other one up on Thursday or Friday. I don't know yet. So sorry you'll have to wait for the beads. But I'm just happy I'm in here making again. This is the first day that I actually felt motivated and ready to go. Okay, and then how big do I want this? Well, I like my bead about 3/4. Now I can just take one big piece and wrap it all the way around it, or I can make this a little smaller and put 2 sides, one on the front of the bead, one on the back. And if you want to make like a barrel size or a barrel shape, then you're also going to want to keep this kind of big. The only problem with making the barrel ones for me is I cannot help from distorting my bead. So that's why I usually make the lentils. For some reason, they're easier. And literally all you have to do is make a round bead. But I have a 2-piece bracelet, which would take 2 holes on each side, and it's 2 different shapes. I'm thinking I might try that as well as a few round beads. Again, my problem is placement, so I'm not sure how well that I can make it. Alright, I think it's time to cut it up. So we'll go 8 inches, we'll cut it at 2. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. These are just for me. I probably won't use them all, so I can sell 1 or 2, but I gotta start learning how to make canes on a wider scale. Alright guys, so there is our cane. I like it. So it kind of has a flower, if you kind of look at it. Kind of has a snowflake, right? And then if you really wanted to get small, you would just put that together and do it again, but you wouldn't see anything because it would become so small. Okay, so that's it for today. We've got a couple ghost canes, right? We got that. And we've got our orange flower, which is going to be a little interesting. And then we have our red, and then we're going to top it up with a gold flower. So I'll let you know how it works. We will be back shortly. Thank you guys for all your support on Makita. I posted to the community for the first time. I've never done that before. I'm glad it works. There I am. Look at my desk. It's crazy. But anyways, it was just nice to be able to get that out. So that's it. So I thank you guys for everything, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, look at that.